Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the 5-Star Podcast. It's that time again. It's another Friday here. Except whenever I'm recording this is actually a Tuesday. But before we jump into today's topic, if you go to blackstonelabs.com and enter code CarryGirl at checkout, I can save you 20%. Except for ISO cream. We can't help you about that. Use your own money. But I want to jump straight into it. Alright? Because obviously they have titles for a reason. So first off, I want to add everything I say in here is just basically my opinion. I may not have everything right. I may not have everything wrong. It's just what I think. Tell me what you think in the comments if you listen. Etc. etc. So, we could all, well, maybe not all, a lot of us, some of us, a minority of us, could possibly agree on this. That WWE has been the big dog of professional wrestling for the longest time. When you hear wrestling, the majority of people think WWE. And that's for a good reason, because they are considered to be the top dog. And so, as I said, for the longest time, we could say as far back as, the 80s, maybe a little bit further than that. Since the 80s, they blew up. Some could possibly say that they've been the top dog since they bought out WCW. Who knows? But WWF/E has always been on top of the mountain in the wrestling world. And we're in this era of wrestling now, compared to back then, where there's wrestling literally in every single corner that you look at. I mean, doesn't matter where you are. You're in a state somewhere around your area. If it's an hour or 2 hours or maybe even 3 hours, somewhere around you, there is wrestling happening at one time or another. If it's just once a month, twice a month, whatever it may be, somewhere around you contains wrestling. And it definitely wasn't something like that in that time. I mean, there was independent wrestling. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that didn't exist at that time, but I'm talking mainly like in every single corner. Maybe one wrestling promotion every certain hour, maybe just one per state. Who knows? I mean, if we do want to count other things other than WWF, the other mountains in the world were stuff like the AWA and the NWA. I was about to say NWO. My bad. I had to pause for a second to think. But really, but WWE always stood out a little bit more. And they still do stand out. Not as much, though. Because, as I said, there's wrestling in every single corner. Which is not a bad thing if you're a wrestling fan. Excuse me if you hear noise for a second. I'm trying to... Let me move this closer. Alright, not as much noise as I thought. Okay. So, the big question then stands. Will WWE remain at the top? Now, this is something that everyone could have an opinion about. Everyone. People could think that they have a lot more threats now. That including brands like Ring of Honor, New Japan. Some would even say Impact. I'm one of those that would say Impact is a pretty good threat at this point in time. Not compared to like 2 or 3 years ago. Not really, but now I feel like they're starting to have a little bit of competition. But is WWE its own top enemy? That's what I wanted to discuss. Are they too worried about what other companies are doing or what other promotions are doing instead of worrying about what they're doing to themselves. Now, as I said, WWE has always been on top of the mountain, but it seems like every single day something new is on the rise. Something else is happening in the world, and it takes us away from what WWE is producing. Plus, not to mention, WWE is forgetting a lot of what, in my opinion, wrestling is. As of recently, Monday Night Raw just passed. And the thing about Monday Night Raws for years now is it always starts off in the same format. They have the openings, if they remember to put that on. And instantly starts off, hey, welcome to Monday Night Raw. And then music hits, and we're going to sit here for 15, 20 minutes hearing someone rabble on and on about something. In which that will lead to the main event, or that will lead to the first match of the night, whatever it may be. And at that time, I'll be honest with you, I'm on my phone. I'm not paying attention to whatever they're saying, because what is it going to help? I know this format already. Someone's about to come out and talk. Constable Corbin's coming out. Whenever Seth Rollins was champion, Seth Rollins would come out. Doesn't matter what it is. It's match. No, it's talk, then it's match, then maybe another match, and then another segment, and then a match, then here's another segment of talking. You don't know what matches are coming up, but you know the format that it's about to fall off of. The majority of, yes, there's storylines. We need that. Very important. But sometimes we just want to go straight to the action. We don't want to hear someone's theme song hits unless it's a good one. I like Constable Corbin's theme song. I jam out to it at the gym. But I just want to go straight to the action. I don't have time for standing around to hear about, and then have someone come out, alright, I'm willing to fight you. Alright, let's fight. No, I'm just kidding. Let's save it for the main event. God dog it. I mean, come on. We want to go straight to the action. At least I do. That's what. And of course, nothing ever pleases a wrestling fan. Wrestling fans are the worst. We all have different tastes, alright? But WWE is becoming an enemy of itself. SmackDown. For some reason, WWE thinks it's smart to call their own brand, their own show, the B Show, the B brand. From the looks of things, your creative team on SmackDown is 1,000 times smarter than the ones that's on Raw. Who is running Raw? Who's in control of that? Because they need to step their game up. Another thing dragging us away is part-time champions. We want full-time champions. We don't want to have to wait 3.5 months just to have a title match. We want someone who's there to fight. God dog it. I don't hear any other show doing something like that. The part-timer turns full-timer. That'd be pretty nice to see. But no, we're stuck with Brock Lesnar, who they're only worried about is money. And of course, the wrestling industry and industries in general run on money. But is it that important? And Stephanie McMahon says, oh, we listen to the audience. Well, why don't you hear? You listen, sure, but you're not saying you're going to listen to it's one of those conversations where you're talking to your uncle at Thanksgiving or something, and he's talking about his truck broke down, and he's telling you the details, and you're just like, yeah. What? Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's one of those moments. If anything, if you do listen. Alright, so here's what we think is good. First off, we don't want Brock Lesnar. You know, and let's give Finn Balor a shot at the title. What is that? And you know, give a guy like Kevin Owens a chance. Yeah. Also, we need some more merch for someone like Zack Ryder. Yeah, sure. It's one of those things. Which is why other companies are starting to blow up. Because they don't focus too much on, you know, what they personally think is good. They listen to a lot of what the fans want or what they think will entertain the fans more. I don't want to keep seeing Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler every damn week. I don't want that. I've seen it enough. Come on. At least wait a while. Like, what? Has it even been a month yet? Has it even been a month yet since those two stopped fighting? No, of course not. God dog it. Like, at least wait it out a little bit. I enjoyed Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy last month at a Hell in a Cell and the build up to it. I enjoyed that because there was a huge gap in the middle. It's something that we didn't think we were going to see. I would personally believe that I would enjoy John Cena and Randy Orton again, because they didn't just fight last month and then took a 1 week break and said, let's go again. Nothing like that. Entertain me. World Wrestling Entertainment. How are you going to entertain me if the matches you're putting on in front of me makes me go, every 2 seconds? And I'm stuck on my phone, looking at Twitter, looking at people feeling the same way that I do. Now look, I'm not saying all this and then all of a sudden just like, I'm not watching anymore. I'm not like that. I'm still going to continue to watch because I want to keep up with everything. But WWE is honestly its own competition. New Japan, sure, that's another, Impact, Ring of Honor, all that stuff. Good for them. You know what, but WWE is being its own enemy at this point. At this point in time, they are fighting themselves. They want to continue running a brand, but they want to continue having a fan base, but they want to continue making all this money. And there's a reason why we have SmackDown, who got paid all of this much to get played on Fox next year. There's a reason that they wanted SmackDown and was willing to pay that much, because SmackDown's the entertaining brand. Raw is boring as hell, but all around, all together, we want matches that we want champions that will be there. Put on some entertaining stuff, dude. If you think back, alright? We could go as far as even the ruthless aggression era, okay? We don't even have to go as far as the Attitude Era. If you go back, it was the small things that made things so special. When was the last time that you saw a steel cage or a TLC match on Raw? When was the last time? We saved that for the pay-per-views. Extreme Rules ain't even Extreme Rules. Hell in a Cell ain't even Hell in a Cell. It's 2 matches with Hell in a Cell, maybe 2 or 3 matches that has extreme stipulations in it. Come on, WWE. We, believe it or not, look up to you as one of the top brands in the world to help represent wrestling, represent wrestling the best that you can to hopefully put out that image that, hey, this is a sport. But guess what? You fail. People's on their phones half of the time thinking, why am I watching this? And they click away, which is why your ratings keep going lower and lower and lower and lower. Switch it up. Don't save a steel cage match for a house show. Put that steel cage on Monday Night Raw in front of millions, not just thousands that paid for seats, millions. Alright, have some fun. Don't always try to be serious. You're in the stock market. Good. Maybe if you were a little bit more entertaining, your stocks would grow more. Come on. Just something to think about. You are making yourself your worst enemy. You are the biggest competition to yourself. And that's for everything in general. If it's everything around you isn't your competition. You are your competition. You're fighting against yourself. In WWE, you're a multi-billion-dollar company. You have some of the top talent in the world in your hands, which is why the only two brands that seem to be succeeding is SmackDown and, of course, NXT. People's going as far as to not even say that NXT is a part of WWE. Because they're on a whole nother level compared to your other two brands. I hear it's because Vince is out of touch. Which, you know what? I wouldn't doubt it. I really wouldn't doubt it. Because unless he understands the wrestling fans' ideal wrestling show and the format that they wish to see, then that's it. If you watch NXT, there's not 500 segments with 12, 6 to 12 minute matches. And along with Monday Night Raw lasting 3 hours, way too long, it's not necessary. It's really not. I think what WWE needs to do is, instead of just keep walking forward, they need to take a few steps back and think for a minute. Just think for a minute about what could save them. Because if they, as a business, want to continue to try to strive as the brand in professional wrestling, then they need to step back a couple feet, maybe a lot of feet, and look. Gotta look at how the ratings are. Look at how the guys are, how the girls are doing, everything like that. Realize that you can't just shove stuff down our throats. You can't. We accept who we accept. We deny who we deny. And I don't want to bring this name up, because I know I'll probably get backlash for it, and because, of his situation, but Roman Reigns. We didn't want that. That's not who we wanted. Brock Lesnar, that's not who we want. Unless he plans on putting on good matches like he did with Daniel Bryan, we don't want him. We want guys who are on the roster. We want Dean Ambrose. We want Seth Rollins whenever he comes back. Kevin Owens. We want Sami Zayn. We want Finn Balor. Come on. You got some huge names. Just take a step back, look at what you got, and think. This is useful. These guys are limited on their potential because of us. Let them break out. Yes, we're in a safer era. We're so worried about concussions and stuff. But you just got to realize what you have in front of you could make or break you. That's like in the gym or something. You have weight. You're trying out new weight. You're either going to make that weight, or it's going to end up crushing you, and you're not going to be able to get it. So while WWE, you may think you're successful now, hopefully you realize sooner than later that you're starting to lose your reputation as a top brand. I'm not a business person. I'm not. But you have to at least understand where I'm coming from a little bit. I am someone who wants WWE to keep striving. Because people still want to be a part of WWE. But in the next few years, are you still going to continue being that top company? Or are you just going to go ahead and let it crumble under you and still think that everything's going to be fine? Who knows? So I'll end this podcast here, right? Thank y'all very much for listening. I hope y'all appreciated my in quote rant. Hopefully y'all understood where I was coming from. Let me know your opinions. Do you think WWE is its own enemy? Do you think that they're going to destroy themselves if they don't get themselves, settled? Whatever it is, just let me know in the comments. Thank y'all very much for listening to the 5-Star Podcast. I'll see you all next time.